Justru berkepanjangan antara KPK dan Polri tentunya telah menyebabkan ketidakstabilan politik di tanah air dan juga kepercayaan publik terhadap pemerintah mulai dipertanyakan. Dan saudara, saat ini sudah bersama saya Tony Kwok, mantan Deputy Commissioner dari Independent Commission Against Corruption, sejenis lembaga KPK di Hongkong. Hi Mr. Kwok, thank you for joining us. My first question will be, how do you see the conflict that is ongoing between the KPK and the Indonesian police? And what will be the consequences if the issue is being prolonged?
Most people think that KPK is probably the second most effective anti-corruption agencies among Southeast Asian countries. Why? Because KPK has been most successful in the past few years to be able to demonstrate its independence, its professionalism, its courage, its integrity, its perseverance to deal with big fish cases. And this is, you don't find it that often in many anti-corruption agencies in the region. So the first thing in this crisis is that we have to also think about the international image of KPK and the international image of Indonesia in having or not the political will to fight corruption.
Back in 1970s, the ICAC was able to clean the police corruption, but at the same time, able to avoid the disorder between the two institutions. How were you able to do that?
ICAC actually is closely related with police corruption. ICAC was created because the public was very upset with the serious corruption problem in Hong Kong, particularly the police. And it was as a result of a very serious police corruption scandal, which forced the government to set up the ICAC in 1974. And since then, for the first 3 years of operation, we have been very confrontational with the police. So what I'm trying to say is that kind of things where KPK is encountering with the relationship with police is not new. It only happens if you're doing a proper job.
Mr. Kwok, do you think by giving partial amnesty for those who committed minor corruption in Indonesia, like how it works in Hong Kong, do you think it will work?
Yeah, in 1977, the governor declared a partial amnesty, but that was a sort of a rush decision to deal with a crisis. And I think that in hindsight, this may not work in every country because it probably would be seen to be unfair. What I propose, for probably the first time in the world, is that there should be a conditional amnesty. Any government officials, senior or junior, they should declare all their corruption involvement to KPK, giving a deadline. And so for those assets which you cannot explain, so one can assume that they would come from his previous corrupt sources. So he would have to surrender those unexplained version of his assets back to the government, and then he will get the amnesty.
With 30 over years experience as an international specialist with anti-corruption, what advice would you give to President Joko Widodo to solve this problem?
As I said, he needs to deal with the short-term problem to ensure that KPK would not suffer. So in this kind of circumstances, a normal international standard is that police should not investigate these kind of cases because there's a perceived conflict of interest that the investigation will be biased, you see. But I'm not suggesting at one moment that we should stop the investigation. Now, all these law enforcement should carry out its normal course. But what I'm suggesting is that the president should really properly appoint somebody, some other persons, to take over the investigation and to investigate all these complaints against the commissioner properly, fully.
Thank you, Mr. Kwok, and thank you for having us.
Thank you.